Hello guys, I'm here with, what's your name?
I'm Akshat.
And you are a first year here at UW-Madison, right? Or
Yeah.
this is your first year here at UW-Madison using
Yeah,
Canvas, right?
exactly.
Yeah, so I'm gonna set the camera down. This is our control inquiry. So tell me about your experience with Canvas so far.
Yeah, so far Canvas has been like a learning process. Like some of the things are intuitive. Like I like how the courses are shown on the side, but I feel like some of the things could be done better. For example, I'm doing like a campus job, and the culinary training comes as a course along with my core classes. The Get Wise thing also comes as a course along with my other classes. I think those should be separated, and I should be able to group them into different categories. So I can group like STEM classes, breadth-based classes. I can group by like other classes, and that grouping process would make it a bit easier for me to understand what's going on. The dashboard I feel like is decent, but I feel like the announcements should not be shown here because the announcements are not part of what I should be doing. But only the deadlines should be shown here because the deadlines are more obvious as to what I should start working on. Groups are all right. I feel like that's a decent spot, but once again, I like if the group shows the class it is for. So like ICAA, I would not know what it is if I'm looking at it for the first time. But if it says ICAA and then it's color coded and gives like the idea that it's from 571, for example, that will help me understand exactly what is going on. So color coding is one huge thing that can be done to make it more intuitive.
Can you tell me about like your onboarding experience that you have? How did you start to learn to use Canvas as a first year?
Yeah,
Did you receive any like guidance or training?
Yeah, I mean, what my friend Justin helped me quite a bit in terms of understanding how it worked, and more than that, it's like just like figuring it out. And I think in the beginning, I was like a little confused because it's my first time using Canvas, and it's my first time using any like site that uses like that has like courses in it. So just understanding how it worked was a process, and now that I've used it for a little bit, I understand more how it works. But I feel like for someone who's just starting out, if it was a little bit more clear as to how to use it, it would have been more useful, especially in like for example, if I go to courses and I click the home page, I wish there was like some like a guiding console or something that helped me understand like where everything is. So the lectures are in this tab, the announcements are here, the projects are here, the assignments are here, and I feel like that would make it easier for me to understand, especially in the beginning, about how everything worked. Moreover, as I said before, the dashboard should only have the deadlines and not the announcements because that confused me quite a bit in the beginning. Yeah.
So I know you're a student, right? So you probably use this every day. Like, what are some things you use Canvas for every day, like right now?
Yeah, the main thing I use the most is probably the dashboard because that helps me like keep track about what the assignments have due, and it also helps me keep track about what are my free periods because I can start working more on those days for like future assignments. I also use Canvas a lot for like figuring out the assignments to do when I click assignments tab here, and I think this is laid out pretty decently, where upcoming assignments are given in the upcoming order, and then the past assignments are down at the bottom because that doesn't clutter it up, and I believe that's a good principle in general. The less clutter makes it more user friendly to use. So that's mainly what I use Canvas for.
Yeah. What other features do you use most often, like assignment submissions? Discussion boards, like accessing course materials. Could you take me through like how you would submit an assignment?
Sure. That's a good question, actually. When it comes to submitting assignments, I mean, it depends on the class, but some of them require me to submit a file, and usually I just click assignments. I click the assignment I want to submit, and I mean, most of the classes I just have to submit a file. I think this one is not a file-based submission, but most of them are file-based submissions. Like I think this is going to be a file-based submission. Yep. So I'd have to submit a file here, and that helps the instructors grade it. I think the file submission part is decent because it gives you exactly and it has multiple options using like Google Drive or Office, and you can also click add another file. I think that's pretty well done. The discussion board, that's a good point. I think that could be done a little better because there needs to be, I think that I don't know if there is a way, but there should be an easier way to be able to text other people in the same class if they want it, if they're okay with it, because I don't see how I can do that. And I just find that to be kind of difficult to do, to like figure out the groups and all. Like that took me a little while to understand. I'm still like in the process of trying to figure that out. So that could be something that gets a little better, especially to be a bit more user friendly to use.
Mm-hmm.
Like over here, for example, let me just go to one of my classes where it was a little difficult to understand. Right here so over here there's no group tab, so I'm like a little confused about where to go. But then I realized I have to click groups, and then I have to click GG5. Actually, no, I have to click ICAA, because those are two different things, and that makes it a little confusing, because sometimes you will not know which group is for which class, and those groups can get muddled up over time. So I think this is something that could be done to make it better. And in this group, when I click discussions, like the discussions only work by creating like a topic and all, which I like, and it's fine to use, but I feel like it could be made a little easier to understand, especially in the beginning, if it's color coded and if it has like clear outlines as to what you need to do.
Yeah, no, that's great. Also, like, how do you check for like? I know a big part of being a student is being on time, like meeting deadlines, right?
Yeah.
Is it easy to like locate, so like checking for like upcoming deadlines for assignments? Is it easy to locate that on Canvas?
Yeah, I'd say it, like, in one way it is, because the dashboard does give that to me. But at the same time, I feel like they should be, like, for example, the due time should be a little bit more specified. Like, for example, this is 9:55 a.m. of the 23rd. This is not the end of the day. So I basically have to submit it the day before, right? And if I look at this from a glance, I'll say, oh, I have till the 23rd to submit it, but technically I have only till the 22nd. So I feel like that timing should also be clearly specified. Maybe in like a larger font somewhere here, or somewhere on this side, like that can be discussed, but like somewhere where it's clear to know where exactly it fits in. Or maybe each day should also be ordered in terms of like the submission time. Like for here, it starts at 11:59 and ends at 12. So I think that's based on like the alphabetical order, but I think it should rather be based on the due time, because that within each date, the due time can act like a tiebreaker, which makes it a little bit easier for me to know what to work on before the other.
Yeah. So another thing is like, how do you like prioritize or organize your assignments on the Canvas platform? Like, do you use the calendar or like the to-do list? I know there's a dashboard.
Yeah.
Can you tell me, show me the features that you use?
Yeah, I mean, mostly I still use the dashboard. If I feel like it, sometimes I'll just click this box, and that helps me know that it's done. Mm-hmm. One thing I think would be nice is once you click the box, this thing should immediately say completed, rather than me having to refresh it and then saying it's completed. I feel like that would be a good tip to have, because that would make it a little bit easier to understand. It also makes me feel like the accomplishment a little bit sooner, because otherwise it just feels like I've just ticked a box, you know. So yeah. I think that's like a psychological thing. It'll just make it feel more smooth to use in general.
Yeah, I mean, with the stress of being a student, that's being able to check off the boxes feels so good, right?
Yeah.
I guess another part of being a student is just say you miss a class. I know you're first year using Canvas, but I know have you missed a class yet?
Yeah. Maybe one or two. Yeah.
Yeah. So in that experience, were you able to find the lecture materials for the class that you missed?
Yeah, that's another good point. I feel like, I mean, some of my classes don't even have lecture recordings, especially this year, most of my classes don't. But for example, if I go to a class that does have one, like 571, like it's a little difficult to find that out. Like this is something I'm doing it for the first time right now, right? And it shows recordings on Cultura Gallery, but if I click this, it doesn't take me there. So I have to like figure it out where it is. So I'm going down here, trying to figure it out. Maybe it's in the course website. I have to maybe open that, go to a separate website, trying to figure it out still. Oh wait, no, it's not here. It's somewhere else. No, so like it just gets confusing. So I still don't know exactly where it is. So it just is a little difficult to use. Like, for example, if they had a tab here saying lectures, and you can click that, and that takes you to Cultural Gallery, I think that'd be a good thing to have, because that'd make it easier to understand where exactly it is, you know? I mean, I could obviously look up Cultural Gallery and find this, but at the same time, if there's a link, it just makes things a lot more smooth.
Yeah, for sure. As a third year, I really understand what you're trying to say, for sure. I guess another question is, how easy or difficult is it for you to navigate the platform, like on a daily basis?
Yeah, I mean, as I said, it's like a mixed bag. So there are like some pros and some cons. I like the fact that there are some, like, the course materials, the office hours, like, obviously a lot of it depends on the class, because every class does it a little differently. So I feel like one nice thing to have is if every class had like one streamlined, like, template that they could follow. If there was one template, it'd be a lot less learning about every different class's canvas. I think that would be a good feature to have. And the template would also make like a lot of redundant things here are not important. Like, there's a syllabus thing here, but that doesn't work. That just gives me some assignments due, but that's not the syllabus, right? And then there's the quizzes here, which, okay, that does work. But then there's the honor lock here, which just takes me to an honor lock issue or something. I mean, maybe that's because I'm using Safari here, but it just isn't very, like, every class has a different thing. Like 571 has these tabs, and if I go to 354, it has completely different tabs. Like, it has a TA consulting tab, which is nice. And if that was there in 571, that would be good too. So it depends a lot on the class. I think some classes have a lot more of tabs than other classes. And I think they need to be following a template where there are a certain number of where only the relevant ones show on the side. Like for here, like, what's the difference between people and name coach roster? Like, I don't know what the difference is. Like, I can click and try to figure it out. See, there's nothing here. And if I click people, yeah, okay, that shows the people in the class. And then what's a reference? Again, okay, this is fine. This is a programming reference. So it's just like a little confusing. Like, this name coach roster doesn't need to be here. A new analytics, I like this thing. I mean, I haven't used it yet, but I think there's a new feature on Canvas that it shows like the growth, because Justin was telling me he didn't see that last time he was using it. But I mean, I don't know how it works yet, because school's just been started. So yeah, I think that's something interesting. Again, there's a new thing I'm seeing here called Testing Center. I have no idea what that does either.
So you're saying more things need to be more
streamlined, yeah.
Like, you need to know what each thing does. Like,
yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
In some way. Yeah. I guess another thing is, like, do you have any like big platform features or changes that you want to see, like just something like that you would implement?
Like a larger scale thing?
Yeah. Like
yeah, I think the biggest thing that I was telling before is like color coding. Like, I mean, I get that there's some color here, but it's only color coded by class. And, you know, when you go to like subdivisions, like you go to, when I click this, for example, there's no like color of the class. I think when you click it, the class's color should be part of the website too over here. And I don't know if you can select your class's color, but that would be a good feature to have too, that you can select the color you want for each class. It's a small thing, but it just like adds to the user experience. I think rounded corners, this is again a nitpick, but I think rounded corners make a site a little bit more fun to use, because this makes it feel a bit more utilitarian, and that would make it feel a bit more interesting to use.
Yeah, no, that's great. So just, I guess you just want more customizable features, right?
Yeah.
More customization. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense, because you're using this every day. It's you manage your whole computer, or your whole grades, or your whole classes on this, right?
Exactly.
It's a big thing for a college student. Yeah, so I guess wrapping up this interview, what's like some advice you'd give to another freshman who, like first year, someone who's new to this platform, that's new to using Canvas?
Yeah, that's a good question too. Firstly, I think like a lot of it is just trial and error. I think you learn a lot more just using it over time. But if you ever get stuck, one, you can always ask like some of the TAs. I'm pretty sure they'd be willing to help you. and in the office hours they tend to be pretty receptive. So if you just meet them, they'll probably be a good help to you. You can also talk to seniors, like I'm doing with Justin, and they help.
I'm a junior.
Oh yeah, juniors, like Justin, and learn about how they like figure the same thing out themselves. So I think that's a good thing to have, like just figuring out like how to use it by getting advice from other people or trying it yourself, and getting help from like the staff if you get stuck anywhere.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
You too.